Okay, you have found the right stakeholders, the team feels comfortable, so you invite them into your sprint review, and no one comes. Hi, it's Daria here. Welcome to ScrumMastered video series where I give you practical tips on how to build awesome teams. In today's video, I wanted to talk about sprint reviews and stakeholders. Sprint reviews are essential for your Scrum team's success because it's an opportunity to collect feedback and adapt your product backlog. However, there are a lot of teams who do not actually invite stakeholders into their sprint reviews, which kind of defeats the whole purpose of this meeting. So let's look at the common reasons for why you might not have stakeholders in your sprint review and what you can do about it. Number one, the team doesn't feel comfortable inviting someone else into their sprint review. The reason that happens is usually we would be showing the perfect complete product to our audience, to our customers, and would be able to actually see what they really think about the product when it's fully complete, when it's almost perfect. However, when we're showing the product that is still in progress, that doesn't have all of the functionality that we wanted to have, well, we might not receive the feedback around everything that we want. And we also might be receiving feedback about features that are not really there and we know we will be working on, but currently are not something that we want to get feedback on. So here are a few things that you can do to actually help with that. First of all, coach your stakeholders on the importance of the feedback that they provide on the product and help them understand that right now the product is not perfect. It doesn't have all of the functionalities. And what they need to give feedback on is what is in there, what actually is already working and usable, and not potential features that might have been there. Also work with your team to help them understand why it is so important to have frequent feedback and how it might impact their overall success long term. And then also look for people who the team would be most comfortable with having, someone they are familiar with, maybe another team they often work with. And that way they can invite people they are comfortable with having in the sprint review, and that would be the first step in inviting the key stakeholders next time. Number two, you don't know who to invite. Well, this is a pretty big issue and you definitely should jump on it as soon as possible. Work with your product owner to identify the potential stakeholders, customers, or end users of the product. You should be creating the product for someone to use, right? You should be providing value to someone in the organization or outside of the organization. So try to understand who those people are. Use tools like customer personas or even Lean Canvas to help you really figure out who those people are and start inviting them into your sprint reviews to gain the feedback from the people who really care about your product. Number three, stakeholders are too busy to attend. Okay, you have found the right stakeholders, the team feels comfortable, so you invite them into your sprint review and no one comes. Well, the stakeholders tell you that they're pretty busy and they don't have time for that sprint review. Well, what can you do and what reasons are actually there for stakeholders not to attend your sprint reviews? Well, first of all, your stakeholders might actually not know that they are important in being in sprint reviews, that their feedback is something that can help you be more successful, that can help the product be more successful. So work with them to help them understand why they're important in the sprint review. Communicate it clearly. Send them an emails or other communications that can help them understand that, and always remind them that there is a sprint review and the team is waiting for them there. The other thing might be that the stakeholders are actually not getting the value from the sprint review. Maybe the way you conduct the sprint review is not as engaging, or it's too technical and is not focused on more of a business side of things. So it makes it difficult for stakeholders to really understand what is actually happening in the product and why it creates value. So this is where the product owner can work with the developers to really figure out how to translate some of those technical things, even defects or tech debt that the team is working on, into more business related requirements so that the stakeholders can figure it out and understand what it actually means for the product. Then the other thing might be that you have booked your sprint review at a time of some other important meetings that stakeholders have, maybe a bi-weekly leadership call. Well, you need to take this into account because you want those key stakeholders be in your sprint review. Look at the schedule overall and make sure that you're not double booking the stakeholders. That way they can say that they're double booked and would actually be more willing to come to a sprint review. And the last thing, you might have the wrong stakeholders. Maybe you have invited people who are genuinely interested in the product, but not actually the people who would be fully using it or who get the full value from the product. They're maybe just interested in knowing a bit more about it. So go back to the last step and figure out who the key stakeholders are, the people who have an invested interest in your product and who would be the right people to give you the feedback. In the end, if you don't have stakeholders in your sprint review, it defeats the whole purpose of the meeting. So you're just there presenting something and not getting the feedback that you really need to evolve and improve your product. I know that getting others evaluate your work and potentially criticize it is daunting, but this is the only way for you to really build products that customers love and use. So think about the feedback that you get, even the negative feedback, instead of an indication that you're doing a bad work. Look at it as a learning opportunity. It just means that you have found some ways in how the product might have worked, and there are better ways to do it. So find them together with your stakeholders. I hope you learned something new today, and if you did, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to this YouTube channel. And if you want more guidance and help on your Scrum Master journey, I invite you to check out the Mastering Scrum Pro community as well as the ScrumMastered shop. I hope to see you next time. Cheers and Scrum on!